the key point of this whole video perhaps is very thrilled to say that I've sold the SaaS I've been working on for the past couple of months to a chain of Pilates studios. I will walk you through within the next 5 minutes the idea inception to meeting the clients, creating the opportunity, to the deal, selling, creating a proposal, iterating on the proposal, shaking hands, sealing the deal, to delivery. I work on scratching my own itch, as we say, and I wanted to have one place where I would see all the yoga sessions that are happening within my area of living. Every time on the weekend, when I have some time, I would want to go practice yoga and I would want to see what are my options. There was no one place where I could see all of them. So I creating this very simple table and I was gonna use APIs and scraping to just put everything together. The idea was to monetize by letting private yoga instructors put themselves on top of this sessions table. This is the first chapter. While this was never came to full fruition, didn't sell anything that is exactly related to that, didn't even finish working on that, I started knowing that this might lead to something interesting. And that's, I think, the key point of this whole video perhaps is you really need to increase your surface of luck. So luck is where, at the right moment, an opportunity meets the prepared mind. Your prepared mind is doing the work that you believe will lead to your first lead and to your first deal. I worked on that, believing that it will improve my skills and I would have something that I'm happy to use. Maybe I'll make a couple of dollars, but knowing that this will serve me in developing my skills of building a product from A to Z. I was working on that one day at a cafe, and at the table next to me, coincidentally, I overheard a conversation between two yoga teachers. They were talking about different sessions and how they structure the sessions. There was a moment when I realized, okay, they've already had their coffee, they might leave soon, and it's sort of like now or never, and there's nothing for me to lose. I reached out and I said, hi, I heard basically you guys are into yoga and you are teachers and I'm building something for yoga teachers. So I was able to make them curious and I just showed them what I had. Like I had it was running locally. It was just this table. I was just scraping manually the yoga sessions around. And I wanted to gauge the level of interest they might have in something like that as the ICP, as the ideal customer for that specific product I was building. I showed it to them, and lo and behold, one of them is the owner of a Pilates studio chain. And so she looked at it and she was like, I'm not really teaching yoga, but I have this Pilates studio and we track the progress of our trainees manually. We use those cards. It's like basically this sort of like cardboard notes where they document the progress of the trainees or the people coming to Pilates. It's like a very boutique, private kind of thing. They have each session, they have those 5 trainees coming in. Everything is planned individually. And then they write like what actually happened, what kind of exercise they were doing. And then based on that, they plan the next session. And then we're doing it manually with those physical cards, and they were stacking them, and sometimes it would get lost, maybe 1 or 2 of them. It was just inconvenient. And she was like, if you're building this and you're kind of a builder, like a developer, why don't you like come over and see if you can build something for us? So, I was doing my sort of preparation, really making sure that I can set up the SaaS and build things and run them and so on. And on the other hand, I was showing the world what I'm doing. And then there was a moment of where the things coincide and, opportunity showed itself. Now, following that moment, there were a couple of months of discussing the details of what it would be like. And I wish I could have done this faster, but I think when you're working with a client, you need to be minded to their pace and how fast they can go. So it's not that they cannot run the session without this piece of software. And so it was something they always wanted to have, but there was nothing burning. There was no fire to put down. There was nothing they had to dramatically do immediately. And so it took a little bit of time to understand the budget constraints and the timeline. Following that quick coffee meeting, we changed our phone numbers, and then there were following couple of weeks and actually months between that specific just coincidence and actually starting working together officially. And I think during that time, there was confidence building between them and between me. So it required some patience, but basically I was very proactive on making sure that we make progress. And so I was able to create like a quick MVP. I told them, the UI eventually is going to be nicer, it's going to look better, but they understood what MVP is. And I think because I was like proactively fast-paced in showing them progress as we were talking, and it was important for me to signal to them that I understand specifically what they need. And by putting that on a UI without even data or a database behind it, just signaling that I know what they need and to allowing them to envision exactly what it would look like was very detrimental in them jumping on the cart and wanting to do the deal. All in all, I think that this is sort of like might be a formula for how to get your first deal closed. And if you follow that over time, I'm confident that you're gonna have your first deal sold. So here's the trifecta that I think really helped me in doing it. Firstly, be very proactive, action-oriented. So start working on something you believe in, show it to the world. Then get a lead and show them the key signals that you really understand what they need, and signal trust building. Do the trust building, be proactive, lead the process. So just make it easier for them to see how this project could be very useful for the business and very successful. I'm gonna go into specifics on how I created the MVP, how I started putting some mock data so you can actually get it up and running. I'll put it right here in a video where you can jump into all of the details.